The Holy Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to Matthew. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in the territory of Judea, during the rule of King Herod, magi came from the east to Jerusalem. They asked, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We've seen his star in the east, and we've come to honor him." When King Herod heard this, he was troubled, and everyone in Jerusalem was troubled with him. He gathered all the chief priests and the legal experts and asked them where the Christ was to be born. They said, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for this is what the prophet wrote. You, Bethlehem, land of Judah, by no means are you least among the rulers of Judah, because from you will come one who governs, who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the Magi and found out from them the time when the star had first appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search carefully for the child. When you found him, report to me, so that I too may go and honor him." When they heard the king, they went. And look, the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stood over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with Mary, his mother. Falling to their knees, they honored him. They opened their treasure chests and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Because they were warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they went back to their own country by another route. The Gospel of the Lord.
So I feel it's my obligation to deliver a public service announcement. You may be seated, by the way. To deliver a public service announcement that our Cathedral Dean, Dean Duplantier, has been widely publicizing in the last week, and that's to make sure that you know that 12th night was last night. It is not tonight. 12th night means the 12th night of Christmas, because Christmas is 12 days. So today is the Epiphany. So it is no longer Christmas, so you can take down your Christmas tree, you can take down your ornaments, it's okay now.
Now.
It would not have been yesterday, though.
No.
Not in the least.
A great sin.
But since last night was 12th night, you could have a 12th night party, and then you can have king cake this morning, which I had waiting for me this morning when I woke up, because my wife is Mardi Gras cuckoo, always has been and always will be. And so we had king cake waiting this morning. So
I was a little jealous when I found out that you had some king cake waiting for you.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not claiming it was good, but I'm just saying there was king cake. There will be better, I'm sure, as we go along through the season. But the creche is still up because, I mean, for a lot of people, actually, today is Christmas. A lot of people in the Christian tradition, because the Eastern Orthodox do celebrate Christmas today on January 6th. And the creche is up because today is the day that the wise men actually arrived. They've been back there in the narthex. But today, they're finally here and greeting the baby Jesus, who would have been probably about 2 years old by this point in the actual story.
Yeah. I really love that image that is described in our gospel reading of when the wise men, the magi, arrive, that they fall to their knees, right? So like, I just imagine, being a new mom myself, Liam is not the age that the baby Jesus likely was when the magi arrived, but to have someone come to my house right now with my 7-month-old, having a horrible sleep regression, bringing gifts, and then falling to their knees to honor this beautiful life. I just imagine what a gift that was to Mary and to Joseph. Raising children is challenging, and you need people in your life to help you remember that it's an incredible gift, because when you're sleep deprived, it doesn't always feel like a gift, even though it is a gift. And so I just love that image of maybe a 2-year-old toddler Jesus running around, tearing things off. Maybe he's not wearing any clothes because he took those off too, you know how toddlers do. And these wise people from afar show up suddenly with gifts, recognizing the beauty of this life, the gift that this life is. And there's so much, I just love that.
And I love that it is people who are extremely different from Mary and Joseph and Jesus. We see this as kind of one whole scene, but we miss that they are in the text specifically called magi, which is related to the word magic because they would have been obviously people from a foreign country, probably Persian, and they were astrologers, more so, not astronomers, but literally people who looked for truth in the stars. So these are very, very different people from the people who have just had this child in their lives.
It's not like it's their cousin, right? Showing up and being like, you should be grateful and remember that they're just going to grow up quickly, you know. It's these seemingly random, but God sent people that they wouldn't have had any reason to interact with otherwise, that God sent them, or that they faithfully chose to follow a message that God gave them.
Because they were searching for the truth. And I think that that is a really important part of the story, that if we get too caught up in the kind of just typical, the magi, the wise men show up, they're just part of the Christmas story. If we don't really pay attention to it, we miss what an important gift just their presence is.
Right.
It's a foreshadowing of God's acceptance of all people, the Jewish people and the Gentile people included, and those of us who are non-religious, non-ethnic Jews are Gentiles. So everyone's included. It shows this universal message. And I love that they find Christ by a completely different set of circumstances and beliefs than their parents would have, than Jesus' parents would have.
Right. The faithful following, the faithful search for truth leads them all from very wide places to this one place, to where God is showing up in an incredibly new and different way. Yeah, I don't know, I've heard this story a million times over, and this year I read it all anew because of where we are in our own search for truth in this world, in the midst of weird craziness, and, you know, my own personal circumstances of having a child in the past year. You know, the search for truth is something that I think has been brought to the front and in front of my life in a new way than it has previously. So these magi, these faithful truth seekers, provide an important example that highlights this place that we're all in right now.
And it highlights the importance of the search for truth,
Right.
even if you're looking at it from a different perspective.
Right.
That it is the search for truth that is the important piece. And all truth is God's truth.
Yeah.
So a genuine, authentic, and intentional search for truth, the claim of the Christian faith, I think, is that it will lead you to Christ. That all of the roads to truth, that are genuinely seeking truth, lead to this place.
So no matter where we're coming from, whether it's chasing a toddler or studying the stars in a far-off land, that the search for truth brings us to unity and brings us to Christ.
Yeah, that is a big inclusive message, that Christ is truth itself, and that whether you call it Christ or not, if you're seeking truth, when you find truth, you have found the Christ.